I call this meeting to order at 3:10 p.m. The date is Sunday, February 4th. Is the clerk ready to take the roll?
Yes.
All right. Minority Party Leader Pelton.
Here.
Majority Party Leader Cipher.
Here.
Member at Large Wentworth.
Here.
Member at Large Itikul is not here. Senate President Rickman.
Here.
And Senate President Pro Tempore Sakdamara is here. Quorum has been established. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members present. Let's go ahead and move into the first interview. Same procedure as always. Could you come over and state your name for the record?
Jason Von Holten.
Jason Von Holten. And just to confirm, you're applying for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat?
Correct.
All right. So the way this is going to work is we're going to go ahead and set a timer for 5 minutes. At the end of those 5 minutes, if you're still in the middle of your general questions, we'll transition directly into your technical questions. Sound good? Okay. Let's set a timer.
Ready?
Give me 1 second. Oh. And as soon as you start answering, I will start the timer. What is your motivation for applying?
So I think to answer this question, you kind of have to start from the beginning. I think it really ties into my, the reason I wanted to be in Senate in the first place is because I wanted to give back to, UF and the community that's given so much to me, as much as I possibly could. And I feel like the root of UF as a community is like the Big Five, and especially student boards. And, I feel like a lot of this stuff really is so deeply rooted in the budget committee and kind of where it all begins. And so I feel like this is a good opportunity to really be able to give, positive, tangible change for the community and be a part of the beginning of a lot of these opportunities that students on campus really do involve and kind of are the lifeblood of UF as a greater community.
All right. What experience do you have that would make you a good fit for the position?
A lot of this can be expressed on my resume, but I am a finance major, so I have the relevant coursework that I think goes along with this position a lot. And not only that, but I've maintained a 3.9 GPA so far. So not only do I have the relevant coursework, I have proven to excel within this coursework. Over the winter, I also served as a wealth management intern, so I have had extensive experience with software like Excel, and I really got to see how, I guess, people kind of operate in a position that money is kind of has to do with. It's the basis of. And then, I've also shown that I have the ability and the want to give back to my community. I've served as my fraternity's sponsorship chair for our philanthropy event, and some of my other leadership experience. I served as the director of recruitment for the Interfraternity Council. So I think a lot of these positions kind of play into each other and kind of express, relevant coursework, academic excellence, and the leadership experience that is necessary for a position like this.
All right. What ideas do you have?
So, I'm sure you guys hear kind of relatively the same ideas when a lot of people come in here, but I think, a lot of the issues the Budget Committee has can't really be fixed in, one semester, 1 year by one person, but I think there is a good place to start is, modeling a lot of the stuff that we do off of other schools. I was looking through UCF's kind of like budget request forms and base funding model and forms and stuff. So I think a good place to start would be, I think UCF does, very similar stuff to what UF does, but better. I don't think there's any other way to put it. Their website is clearer. Some of the dates on UF's websites are just outdated. There was, found some spelling mistakes also, like just super simple stuff that just, can be overhauled very quickly. I also think that it's our job to serve the students and not the students' job to serve us. And so when you have a system like just, when you say for like event travel and operation budget requests, when you have a system where you flat out say to them like, our first option is probably not going to work, so be prepared for our second option. That's putting the responsibility on them. For something that is such a big deal, I kind of just think that's unacceptable. And I think we have to be working closer with UF, because I'm sure getting a dedicated website or just this, like a system that can handle the volume that we're seeing for these first come, first serve things is, I couldn't imagine be that challenging. And I don't know, I think it's just necessary. at this point, honestly.
All right. Now moving into the technical questions. What is the difference between an operational and event budget request?
So an operational budget request is for any general body meetings that a organization wants to take place, and an event budget request is pretty much everything else anything outside of a general body meeting that a student organization wants to do.
Okay. What are the big 5 organizations?
Student government, rec sports, student activities and involvement, sorority and fraternity life, and the rights union.
What requests does the budget committee cover?
Operational budget requests, travel budget requests, event budget requests, base funding, and line item transfers.
All right. And when does student government's fiscal year start, and when does it end?
It begins on July 1st and ends on June 30th.
All right. Thank you so much for interviewing.
Perfect. Thank you all of you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great day.
See you guys later.
Yeah.
Point of information before we continue. I am not able to access the applications. Is anyone else having the same problem?
I was
Are
able
you
to.
downloading it, or are you trying to?
I mean, I've been using all the different types because it seems like every week it's either downloading works or using the link works. I've used both.
It's
and I-
I've only
working for
been
me,
able
but
to
it's not
access it
working
by
for her.
download.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to
Oh,
download
I've
it.
downloaded it, and the thing for me is it
Oh, yeah,
opens
wait.
the
Yeah.
list.
It
but when
opens
I
and then it
open
just
the
stops.
applications, it just says access denied or error processing request
Yeah.
rather.
Yeah.
It's opening them on mine.
Is it?
Somehow you're the
Yeah,
only one.
that's not really helpful. Sorry, I've just been given. I'm just special like that.
You're
Mine-
Yeah, so like
mine-
look, so like if I'm on
when you
this
actually
and
open the
I
application, you see it.
like if I open Angelina's, like it comes
Okay.
up. Yeah. I just re-downloaded
Mine
it,
was
though.
opening yesterday, but
Mine's working
now when I'm
now.
hitting null.
Yeah, I took a look at everything yesterday, and it's not working today. So that's
Well,
Well, hey.
Just me, guys. I can't, and I tried to like share with her the download.
Okay, so let's think about this. How about let's message SGAO and ask if they might be able to fix the issue.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then if not, then we can move on from there.
What?
It also just doesn't work if you want to view your application as well. Like that's like one thing I was trying to do for like to send you mine, but like it doesn't even let me view it. Like so even like on
I can go through and take pictures of them all right now, and then just.
That'll be sort of a last resort, but let's just see if that's you.
Yeah,
Just,
the-
do you want me to do it now? Just because if it stops working.
Well, let's just
Let's
move into
just
the.
see if we
Okay.
get a response like the next
Okay.
few
Okay.
minutes. If not, I would appreciate it.
Sounds good.
And then
I mean,
mine got sent to you.
yeah.
yeah, I got.
Okay, and I believe there's just like been issues with the website and stuff recently, so hopefully we can work out some of those bugs.
We definitely just do not want to go to the deliberations without having access to those.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, I don't mean to take
No, you're totally good. Next up we've got
Sorry.
Angelina. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
You need someone else to click for the time being.
Hmm?
You need someone else to click for the time being.
If you would like to come into it.
You want to take over the
Are you
laptop?
comfortable with that?
Yeah, okay. The pink laptop really suits you.
All right. Could you do me a favor and state your name for the record?
Angelina Fentress.
Okay. And then you are applying for the Open Budget Appropriations Committee Seat, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the way this is going to work is we're going to set a timer for 5 minutes. At the end of those 5 minutes, if you're still answering your general questions, we're going to move directly into your technical questions. Sound good? Cool. Then as soon as you start talking, I will start the timer. What is your motivation for applying?
Yeah. I think initially I wanted to join Senate because Budget Committee really called like my interest. I think Budget Committee is a really niche like area that kind of holds a lot of control over our campus, and so I think getting involved in that is super, super important. But more than that, I really want to learn more about how budget works in general. I think like once I'm able to understand how the Budget Committee operates from an inside perspective, I'll be able to make an even greater difference just in my Senate position as well, whether that's, you know, amending certain codes or making resolutions. With having that understanding by being on budget, I'll be an even like bigger asset to the Senate chamber as a whole. And then further, I think that like this is just an amazing way to like make an even more tangible impact for my constituents by having that hands-on experience outside of just writing legislation.
All right. What experiences do you have?
Yeah, I think my biggest asset and experiences. I've definitely had a lot of experience with collaborating and leadership roles. I think in the business school, I'm involved in a Florida Leadership Academy, and with that, I'm able to work with a group of people to plan events, plan recruitment events, and in this role, I have to help manage a budget. We have to help manage where are we going to find the money to put on these events and things like that. So I think having that experience will definitely be applicable to this role, and understanding the student organization's mindset and where they're coming from with these requests. So I think that's super important. Also, I have financial experience just with different coursework. I've taken the accounting classes, unfortunately. But so those definitely are an asset, I think, coming into this. And then finally, I think I definitely have the time and the dedication to Senate and Budget Committee in general. And I think that, when that time comes where requests are coming in, Budget Committee meets for that week for nonstop, I'll be able to definitely dedicate myself and my time fully to that. And I think that's super important and just a huge asset to the team, especially with, my collaboration and leadership skills, holding all of that together. I think all of that just makes me a great asset to the team.
Cool. Okay, what ideas do you have?
Yeah, I think one of my biggest ideas surrounding those requests is kind of just hosting a Q&A session type of thing when requests open up for student orgs to request their funding for different events, different travel, just to kind of help them out in understanding, how this process works and why maybe they're not getting the funding that they think they deserve or they do deserve, but we just don't have the funding to allocate to them. And kind of helping them understand that it's not a personal thing, and that we want to support them as best as we can, and kind of also helping them understand just the process in general, because I feel like a lot of student orgs really just don't understand it. And then even further than that, kind of being more transparent with our other senators as well. I feel like a lot of senators who haven't served on the Budget Committee or don't have an interest in budget may not also understand it to the full extent. So maybe helping them understand that with different, presentations to the Senate chamber, or just hosting similar meetings for other senators to kind of learn more about the budget as well, to see how they can impact it in their own legislation.
Cool. Okay. Next up is what? Oh, yeah. We're gonna go ahead and move into the technical questions
Perfect.
now. Yeah. Starting off with, what is the difference between an operational budget and an event budget request?
Yeah, operational is for GBMs, basic meetings, and then event is for any other events that a board puts on.
Cool. Next up is, what are the big five organizations?
Definitely. Student activities involvement, student government, sorority and fraternity life, Rights Union, and rec sports.
Okay. And then next is, what requests does the budget committee cover?
Yeah, operational and event, and then also travel requests, the base funding, and then any line item transfers.
Okay. And then when does student government's fiscal year start, and when does it end?
Yeah, it starts on June 30th and it ends on July 1st.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay.
I had Jackie resend it to me, and it's still giving me the same error message. Laurel, are you still the only one that I've worked
She
for?
was not in the room.
Oh,
I'll try and tell you if I can now.
yeah, could you just...
That's weird. I mean, Senate hearing style.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello?
Okay. Do me a favor and then state your name for the record, please.
Thomas Watson Hewitt III.
All right. And then you are applying for the Open Budget Appropriations Committee Seat, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So the way this is going to work is we're going to set a timer for 5 minutes. At the end of those 5 minutes, if you're still answering your general questions, we're going to go ahead and move into your technical questions. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. When you start talking, we'll start the timer. What is your motivation for applying?
So specifically for Budget Committee, I just think they're one of the most important parts about student government, and just in the fact that they're able to disperse the $24 million budget. And I really just like to do a lot of things. In high school, I played the double bass. I was captain of the football team, I was student body president, I did the IB program, and in all those things, you just get exposed to just really a lot of different subjects. And I think in budget, you kind of see the same thing. Really, you get to see and hear from a lot of different student organizations, and I just really appreciate that because I just am genuinely interested in to hear what all the students on campus want to do.
Okay. Next up is what experience do you have that would make you a good fit?
Yeah. So from the last time I interviewed, I was on chapter 1, financial accounting. Now I'm on chapter 3, but really seriously, I've recently been accepted into GSIF. It's called the Gator Student Investment Fund, and they manage $1 million in the endowment. And already I've started to use PowerPoint and Excel to try to assess value, and I feel like that's a really important skill for budget, is really determining like proper allocations. And then I've also have experience at Warrington Ventures. It's a venture capital club, and you get to work up with startups and really try to help them using like PitchBook and Statista, just trying to use this data to find out what would be the best market for their new product to enter. And I'm also a finance major, which I feel like would be very beneficial for a role in the budget committee.
Next up is what ideas do you have?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I think the biggest thing is just really more workshops, really teaching people like what budget does and like how you can access those funds. So one hand, I'd like to see a workshop that would just teach student org leaders how that they can access this funding and proper ways, like proper correct usage or correct request, of that funding, and then like incorrect. And then also I'd like to see this in the Senate itself, maybe collaborating with the I&C committee to try to teach members how to access Senate budgetary funds, so we can see more things like former Senator Sess, what she did with the art closet. I think that was a really great idea. Because resolutions are great, but if we can like actually use some of the funds and try to teach people like how we can access and like what's a correct request to that, I think that would be really beneficial. And I'd also like to see an increase in like maybe A&SBs, or just somehow we can increase the budget, because organizations like the Southwest Rec or Student Rec, like this GEMS, like they're getting really tight on their budgets now with minimum wage increasing, and their budget really hasn't been appropriate in terms of inflation. So I'd like to see if we could try to advocate for a better budget.
All right. Next up, we're going to move into your technical questions.
Okay.
Starting off with what's the difference between an operational budget request and an event budget request?
Yeah. So an operational budget request, that's something over like a long period of time for like a student org, like say a semester or so, to run GPMs, and then an event is going to be, like the name implies, just a single event.
Okay. Next up is what are the big five organizations?
Mm-hmm. The big five is the Rights Union, Student Activity Involvement, the Student Rec, Student Government, and then the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life.
All right. Next up is what type of requests does the budget committee cover?
So, like you previously said, operational event, and then there's also base funding and then line item transfers.
Okay. And then next is when does student government's fiscal year start and when does it end?
July 1st to June 30th.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you.
I don't know if there's something on the carpet.
Yeah, I see that.
No.
Oh my god.
It's
For me.
fine.
I don't know.
We promise that's not you, probably.
Because I didn't see it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Point of information. Is someone clerking? Oh, okay, awesome. Point of information. This is crazy now that you're the clerk. What were the responses to applicant Fentress to the third technical question on text request?
Text of
I guess you weren't taking minutes when you were.
Yeah.
No, Hunter was. So there should be
All
minutes.
all five.
Okay,
Cool.
perfect.
Just want. I'm sorry. I want to make sure the record's clear. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay, I'll go get Antonio. I also still cannot open it.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
I still can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jackie resent it to everyone. Is it working for anyone else?
Oh no.
That's cool.
Laurel, before you do that, let's see if we can.
It has not been tracked.
Yes, that's good.
Oh, it was definitely on his. It was definitely on his shoe then.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel
I don't
bad.
get it though, because how is it there and not in the
Yeah, how would you not
house?
have walked in?
Cause
No,
I,
it's over here now.
yeah.
Don't worry.
So good.
I can let the building manager know.
We're good.
I'll let them know. I'll write that down.
We can
So
move the table back.
in an interview I had a while ago, I in the interview he offered me a bottle of water. Immediately spilled it all over myself.
That would happen.
Yeah, that's a very solid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's really funny.
Oh.
No, let's ignore that. Let's just act like that.
I
doesn't
wouldn't have even
exist.
noticed that if he hadn't said anything.
Yeah,
So
I was-
I would
I would have walked in and been like, oh.
I think I would have walked out and not said anything.
Which is great, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I can either. So, what do you want to do?
Laurel's email us.
All right. Yeah, Laurel. Then,
No, but she
I
tried
sent
texting it to me and it didn't work.
to Julia and she still confirmed that like I texted it to her. You probably could just screenshot now, or is that like an OCD?
screenshot
I
like.
can just take a picture of you.
Could you, so you're able to get it on your laptop?
Yeah.
Could you just copy paste everything into a Google Doc? Because I want to be able to actually copy and paste and do things with the text. That's the thing. Basically,
Yes.
picture I can't do that.
We should probably do that after interviews, though.
That's
Yeah,
fine. As long
that's
as you
fine.
have the time to do that at the end. It's all right.
Sorry for making you run around, Laurel.
Oh, I actually like
That's
it.
what I did
I like
before
it.
you
It's
go
so
because
good.
my application didn't work and I said, oh, y'all do the document.
Yeah.
Attached resume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll do that for these other people.
that's probably what we'll do.
Ironic that mine was the one with the issues before and now it's the one that you can see.
If I were to disappear for a second, y'all gonna call a quorum check?
I
Yeah.
promise you.
Oh, no funny business, no motions.
And
All right.
worst case, we can.
I
Yeah.
just don't want to interrupt business. And I do indeed have to
We
address.
can,
Do.
Go right ahead.
we can just.
Okay.
Oh, you got the notes.
Yeah.
Wait. Then. Do.
Oh, no, we're taking the notes. It's fine. Hello.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. I'll start making my doc.
Yay.
How's everyone doing today?
Tired.
How are you?
Pretty well. Yeah, I woke up very early, and I'm surprised at how much energy I have.
I'm gonna.
I only have
So
energy.
okay, real quick. You also applied. I just want to confirm this was an accident. Applied for the off-campus seat.
Yes, I did. I do live off campus.
Don't
Okay.
you hold a seat though?
I do currently.
That's for off-campus Senate seat. So
Yeah.
you don't have to apply for that. You
I
can
know.
get a seat.
Like I'm comfortable switching.
You can't extend your term, though, I don't think. I don't think that's allowed.
No, I think you'd have to resign and then reapply, right?
I
So-
think.
Okay, well if all goes well, you can offer me the committee seats, and I'll resign and reapply for off-campus Senate just before we move into the next interview. Do I have 3 interviews or is it just?
No, just
No,
one.
just one.
Okay, so just to confirm, you want to apply for the off-campus seat as well.
If I cannot, then no.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
No.
I don't know if that's yeah.
That's not one.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, let's.
I can try it. No,
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay, let's see how this is gonna work. Oh, guys, there's the resume too.
Yeah, I attached 2.
No, sorry, we're having an issue with opening like the thing on everyone else's computer, so I'm gonna like make it into a Google Doc, but I forgot that. Okay, I'm gonna do this, guys.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
actual
We're gonna
resume,
figure it out.
The web portal said was too large, so I had to
Valid.
upload it as an other, and then I just went to my LinkedIn and downloaded
All right.
that, and then submitted that as my resume.
That's one of the biggest flexes I've ever. save it for the interview. Man.
Okay, it actually won't let me paste
Right?
it. Probably not.
I'm just gonna.
Maybe I'm stupid. No, we didn't need to
Awkward.
wait for him because then I'm taking notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
All right. Yeah. Just.
It's not. I can.
It was like 1 minute. Sorry about that.
Okay. Cool. Then, can you state your name for the record, please?
Yes, I'm current graduate senator Antonio Hendricks.
Okay. And just to confirm, you're applying for the open budget appropriations, information and communications, and also the off-campus Senate seat.
If I cannot apply for the off-campus Senate seat, then I am not applying for the off-campus Senate seat.
Okay. Sounds good.
The others are correct.
Cool. Then the way this is going to work is I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. At the end of those 5 minutes, if you're still answering your general questions, we're going to move into the technical questions for INC as well as the Budget Committee. Cool?
Okay.
All right.
In which order?
Which order do you want? Okay, cool. We'll start off with budget and then move into INC. So whenever you start talking, we'll go ahead and start the timer. What is your motivation for applying?
I've long held the belief that strong communication and direct communication is one of the most important values and requirements of SG in order to provide for their electorate, the student body, as well as for the general functioning of the student body. That makes INC a very valuable committee. In fact, I think it's probably one of the most underrated or underappreciated committees within student government Senate. They are responsible for both internal and external communication. And budget as well. The Budget and Appropriations Committee is simply responsible for dishing out this $23 million budget and has to do so in an efficient way that meets the needs of the students. I've met with constituents, both graduate, undergraduate, and off campus. I'm not applying for off campus. And they've mentioned that there's, generally speaking, a lack of information that answers all of their questions and questions that they didn't know they had or could ask. And I think the INC and the Budget and Appropriations Committee has the capacity with these very enthusiastic civil servants at our disposal to really engage and provide the information needed by these student bodies.
Okay. Next up is what experience do you have that would make you a good fit?
I have served as a graduate senator for nearly 2 semesters now, over the summer and this semester. And I was also heavily involved in student government and student organizations at my undergraduate university. I'm also heavily involved in student organizations here on campus, but I think my time during undergraduate speaks more heavily in terms of what I can do within these committees. I served in the largest registered student organizations in undergrad, focusing on mental and physical health and communications thereof, as well as professional progress with IEEE. I also served as Senate Pro Tempore, chair of the Legislative Executive Board for over a year, and was a member of the Internal Communications Committee, which was actually expanded to the Information and Communications Committee during my time. I was also a member of the Budget and Appropriation Audit and Budget Committee, acronyms, and where we handled apportionment, all of the SG finance, similar to what I would be doing in these committees that I've applied for. We regularly met with student organizations about 4 times a year, twice a semester, to go over tutorials and workshops that I believe we in this SG can do, though I understand that it is a much larger undertaking with over 1,000 student organizations, which is why I have lots of ideas for whenever you ask the next question.
Right. What ideas do you have?
May I know how much time I have?
1 minute, 13 seconds.
Does this include the technical questions?
No, you move into technical questions after.
Okay. I think Gator Connect is severely underutilized. We had a very similar web forum at my undergraduate university. It's called Phoenix Link. Gator Connect has the ability to host meetings and meeting logs, as well as question and answers, any documents, campus finances within both the student org and the student government. And I think that the reason that it's so severely underutilized here is simply because, well, for one, SG doesn't use it, so why should the student orgs? and the students aren't going to use it if the student orgs and SG aren't using it. So there's probably a need for workshops in order to utilize the service. Elections can also be done through this. That's a significant platform for both the INC and Budget and Appropriations. Internally facing, the INC can further utilize or has the responsibility to interact with senators.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. We're going to go ahead and move into your technical questions, starting off with, I believe you said you wanted budget first, or you said you didn't?
Budgets.
All right, cool. What is the difference between an operational budget request and an event budget request?
These are both in the name, where operational budget goes towards any general body meetings, anything that the student organization normally does, the day-to-day operations of their club. Events budgets are more specialized for one-off events. Maybe it's held twice a year or something like that.
All right, what are the big five organizations?
The big five includes student government, student activity and engagement, student activity and SAI. I can't think of the last word for some reason. The Rights Union, Rec Sports, and sorority and fraternity affairs.
All right, next up, what kind of
activity and involvement, sorry.
All right. Next up, what kind of requests does the Budget Appropriations Committee cover?
The BNA covers all operational budgets requests, event, travel, and line item requests.
Okay. And then next up is, when does student government's fiscal year start and end?
The fiscal year ends June 30th and begins July 1st.
Okay, well, thank you so much for... Oh, I didn't see. I apologize. Starting off with, what are the events that the INC committee is supposed to plan for each semester?
As previously mentioned, the INC is responsible for providing the new senator orientation as well as the Senate retreats. New senator orientation is required to be held by the second Senate meeting after election results are confirmed, and the Senate retreat is required to happen sometime between the beginning of term and 2 weeks before a final exam week, which is quite large.
All right. And then finally, how long does INC have to post an open seat?
24 hours.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Actually, is it okay if I sit in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. What's up?
Just to answer the question from before, although he withdrew, is this 340.4, sitting student senator may not be nominated, fill vacancy without resignation of the current seat.
Was the resign to run act repealed?
This is not the resign to run act, this is in Title 300. That's in the 700 codes.
Okay, thank you.
Point of personal privilege. Just for members of the public and for the future, can we please not interrupt interviewees in the middle of their interview, whether by physical gesture or verbal gesture, just as a reminder, if that's okay.
Does someone want to go grab a question? Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think, yeah.
Engineering. Hello.
How are y'all doing?
Pretty good. Can you do me a favor and state your name for the record?
Yeah, Christian Robinson.
All right. And just to confirm, you're applying for the Open Budget and Appropriations and Information Communication Seat?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to set a 5-minute timer. At the end of those 5 minutes, if you're still answering your general questions, we're going to go directly into your technical questions. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Whenever you start talking, we'll start off. And then just out of courtesy, would you like your Information and Communications technical questions first or Budget Appropriations?
Whichever is easier for y'all.
I will go ahead and start off with the budget. Starting with, what is your motivation for applying?
Yeah, so through my role currently as an off-campus senator, I feel like I've been pretty active in the Senate chamber, but there's always room to grow and do more. And I knew, like, going through campaign and the elections and everything, I definitely wanted to make the most out of my time that I spent to get into the chamber, and also just to like give back to the community that got me there. So with that being said, like I wanted to go into it with like eyes wide open, give myself to all of Senate, and do what I can to create real change that's gonna outlast me in the next couple of years.
Okay. Next is, what experience do you have that would make you a good fit for the position?
Yeah, so for budget appropriations, I actually have experience off campus. I did some work as a litigation assistant for a law firm in Jacksonville. And in that role, I was a medical billing analyst kind of. It was more of an intern position, so it was very low level. But I spent a lot of time kind of working for my clients' best interest to mitigate the actual cost of their treatment and their expenses, and then decrease that cost for the firm while also getting the maximum output for the client. So I would focus primarily on their settlement while also make sure that their treatment is being paid for. And then I also have experience working in merchandising for my pre-law fraternity, Delta, and I've created a lot of merch for them throughout the years that I've been involved with them. For information and communications, I have a lot of experience with PR and marketing and outreach. I currently serve as the Vice Chancellor of Marketing for Student Honor Code Administration, and also I am the Vice Chair of Graphic Design for Action SG. So those cool Florida SG sweaters, I helped design those. And I have a lot of experience with working on Instagram campaigns and making sure that engaging with an audience and getting the most out of PR, using everything you can to get out of any sort of social media platform or any marketing initiative.
All right. Next up is, what ideas do you have?
Yeah, so for budget, I primarily would like to focus on streamlining the way that the meetings are held and focusing on making it more efficient, and then also prioritizing the timeliness of it all and making sure we can get to what we need to get to without sacrificing budget requests or focusing our attention on somewhere else where we could be more prioritized to get the best results that we can out of our time constraints. And then additionally reworking the Google form. I was suggesting maybe using UF Qualtrics. I don't know how well they would be as a substitute, but also just focusing on how that's backed by UFSG and making it more of an internal issue if it were to crash. Or just honestly focusing on the next kind of way to do budget requests where they don't crash. And then for IMC, focusing on making a public link for, I feel a lot of good ideas for a calendar or a newsletter, but to be sure to cross the aisle and have it as a Senate reference, but also to make it as a public link for the rest of the student body to be able to access.
All right. So now we're going to go ahead and move into your technical questions, starting off with the Budget and Appropriations Committee. What is the difference between an operational budget request and an event budget request?
So operational budget requests are for GBMs, whereas an event request is more of a special event that an organization might be funding for.
All right. What are the big five organizations?
That's going to be the Rights Union, Rec Sports, Student Government, SAI, and Sorority Fraternity Life.
All right. Next up is, what kind of requests does the Budget and Appropriations Committee cover?
They do operational, event, travel, and line item.
Okay. And then, when does the student government fiscal year start and end?
July 1st to June 30th.
Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and move into the technical questions for the Information and Communications Committee. What are the events that the Information and Communications Committee is required to plan for each semester?
So they plan the new Senator orientation and the Senate retreat. The Senate retreat, I believe, has to be done in between the beginning of the term and 14 days before final exams, whereas new Senator orientation is the second meeting after elections.
Okay. Then the next question is, how long does the Information and Communications Committee have to post an open seat?
24 hours. Yeah.
Okay. That's all the questions we have for you. Thanks so much for coming in.
Okay. Thank you. That's good.
Point of information.
Yep.
Do we have any status update regarding the applications?
No, I think Laurel has been.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you
However,
so much.
Google Docs does not like PDFs being applied into them, so the only issue is resumes. I don't know how big of a...
Right, so when you click on, they have to be downloaded to your computer,
It is. It just doesn't like that it's a PDF. Like the...
Is there any chance you could just create a separate folder within your Google Drive and just upload all the resumes? I mean, fortunately, there aren't that many people applying this week, so it shouldn't be too ridiculous.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
This is a lot. So
Yeah, and then after we do interviews, I'm just going to get everyone's email, and I'll show you guys on it.
awesome. I appreciate it.
Okay. Hello. Could you do me a favor and then state your name for the record?
My name is Alan Rivera Amigo.
Okay, and just to confirm, you're applying for the Open Information and Communication seat, correct?
That's correct.
All right. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. At the end of those 5 minutes, we're going to transition directly into your technical questions if you're not done answering your general questions. Cool? All right, so whenever you start talking, we will go ahead and start the timer. What is your motivation for applying?
Yeah, so coming in as a first-year student and eventually being elected as a senator, I knew from the beginning that I really wanted to involve myself and truly get the most out of Senate. So with this in mind, I already knew I had a passion for public relations due to my involvements in high school. For example, I was the president of the drama club, and I was also the president of my school's chapter of the National Honor Society. So my motivations really stem from my past and current experiences in public relations, relating to student organizations and leadership opportunities where transparent and informative communication is required from the student-led organization. I can already see some areas in which I envision INC committee doing better in both external and internal communications. For example, in external communications where the student body is the main target audience, such as the implementation of the Senate newsletter and also the Why Senate Wednesdays initiative, and as well as internal communications amongst our senators, such as tabling opportunities.
Okay. What experience do you have that would make you a good fit?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I've been involved in leadership positions where public relations are essential to the duties of the position. Most notably, for the last 2 years, I've had the pleasure of serving on the board of the National Education Equity Lab Alumni Society as the Vice President of Communications. And in this role, I've had the opportunity to establish an alumni newsletter covering scholarship opportunities, college application instructions, FAFSA form tips, and many other higher education opportunities for a network of more than 5,000 Equity Lab scholars across the nation. The experience was not only limited to internal communications, as we've also branched out to holding online career workshops and hosted guest speakers from some of the most prestigious colleges across the nation, such as Howard, to nurture a sense of mentorship and accessibility in the college admissions process. The technical writing skills obtained from the position as VP of Communications, I feel are very transferable to a position in the INC committee. For example, I can confidently design mass email and social media communications using web and app-based programs such as Publicate HTML and Canva, respectively. I also have cooperative skills as I worked across the board comprised of 4 other members across areas of expertise to collaborate on a central hub of information for alumni, resulting in the recent development and release of an Alumni Society webpage, wherein scholars can find opportunities for involvement and upcoming workshops and any other communications as needed.
All right. What ideas do you have for the committee?
Yeah, so one of my passion projects, if allowed to serve on the committee, would include disseminating a Senate newsletter. For the last 2 years, this is what I've been dedicated to doing for the National Education Equity Lab. And I'm confident that my 2 years of experience in this specific field would prove useful in implementing projects of similar nature for the Senate. In particular, I'm looking forward to how the newsletter can become a powerful tool to increase awareness of the Senate amongst the diverse student body, as well as transparency amongst the general constituency, as it's currently a very tedious process to truly be in the know of legislation that has passed in the Senate from outside perspectives. My goal is for the newsletter to include everything that's outlined in the Senate rules and procedures, such as tabling dates, pass legislation and resolutions, and ad hoc committee updates. And of course, it would be in the committee's best interest to gather public opinion on the newsletter to make sure it's appropriate and accessible to the diverse and ever-evolving student body. And another idea I would have would be the improvement of the new senator orientation. My experience with the new senator orientation can be described as like somewhat successful in introducing parley, pro, and constituency. However, as like a new senator, I can say that some additions to the orientation, like a mock Senate session, a Q&A opportunity, or even like a legislative drafting workshop would have made for a more comprehensive Senate orientation for somebody just entering the Senate. I really hope to bring these ideas forth to the committee to see how new senators can be better informed of these procedures and core functions of the Senate so that the transition process isn't so abrupt.
Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and transition into your technical questions. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Cool. What are the events that the Information and Communications Committee is supposed to plan for each semester?
Sorry.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
All right. So what are the events that the Information and Communications Committee is supposed to plan for each semester?
So the two events are the new senator orientation as well as the Senate retreat.
Okay. And then how long does the Information and Communications Committee have to post an open seat?
The committee has 24 hours.
All right. That's all the questions we have for you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. It should be Caroline. Caroline. Her resume says Caro. So
Carolina Perez.
her resume says Caro.
Kara?
Carolina
Perez.
Carolina.
Yeah.
She says CARO.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you doing? I'm sorry about the room format.
I don't think I
Okay. Could you do me a favor and state your name for the record?
My name is Carolina Perez.
All right. And just to confirm, you're applying for the open off-campus Senate seat?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so the way this is going to work is I'm going to go ahead and set a timer for 5 minutes. At the end of those 5 minutes, if you're still answering your questions, your interview will go ahead and conclude. Cool? All right, so whenever you start talking, I will go ahead and start the timer. Just let me know. So what is your motivation for applying?
So my motivation for applying started when I moved off campus myself, and I got to experience the daily life of what it means to not be here on campus. I used to live off campus my first year here, and so now I can see the discrepancy between being an on-campus student and an off-campus student.
Okay. Next is what experience do you have that would make you a good fit?
So like I said, my day-to-day is living on an off-campus location, and so I feel that every day I experience kind of like the hardships that come along with that, and so living that like as my reality, and then coming to campus and seeing like how off-campus students interact differently with on-campus students is kind of my personal experience with that.
All right.
And then as far as like career stuff, I work for the university, so I'm like very in tune with like university policies because I work for the business school, so that can also help me if I do get the position to know like what policies can be instated and what policies can't.
Okay. Next up is what ideas do you have?
So my first concern would be safety, just because I know for me, as soon as class is over, I like to go and study Marston, West, whatever it is. I get home like pretty late, and the lighting's really dim, and especially now that it's winter, it's like pretty dark. And so this is just like a personal experience. My car was just robbed like in my apartment parking garage, and so that could have ended like more poorly than it actually did. Like thank God nothing happened, but I was thinking to combat like the safety aspect of it, partnering with UFPD and using like a helpline where just if you get off the bus and you feel unsafe to walk from one point to another, you can call UFPD and just have them on the phone to escort you. Also, I have noticed that UF does care a lot about how off-campus students are treated. We do have buses that run fairly often and they're reliable. However, the RTS app is one thing, the off-campus website is another, and I kind of want to create a centralized online hub, like an app or a website, where off-campus students can go and see all their resources in one place, because I feel like we're not aware of all the resources available to us. And yeah, those are kind of like my top two things.
Okay, well, those are all the questions we have for you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything? Okay, does everyone have the link? I texted it in the group chat, the RNA.
Mold. Of course, and you do it.
Do you think that we would be able to recess before doing anything so we can look at it? Yeah.
All right. Can you do me a favor and state your name for the record, please?
Hunter Monson.
All right. And just to confirm, you're applying for the Open Budget Appropriations Committee seat?
That is correct.
Okay. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. At the end of those 5 minutes, if you're still answering your general questions, we're going to go ahead and move into your technical questions. Sound good? The time will start as soon as you start talking. What is your motivation for applying?
So, as we all have seen, this is my fourth time applying for this. I'm very passionate about getting, or just the budget committee as a whole. I have previously mentioned this in prior interviews. I have been able to see both sides of the enrichment aspect of it, from the student organization side, as my involvement like within just big minority organizations, as well as the fact that I have been here in Senate. I have seen how it does impact others. I've seen those that get the proper funding they want, that they can throw these amazing events. Last year, I went to Fastathon, I've been to SGP events, I've been to Accent events. I've seen how these events are great for enriching the student buying experience, as well as just creating lasting memories here at UF. I've never previously mentioned this, which I don't know why I have not, but I've seen this recurring theme that people, that we want to decide the classes. So I'm currently taking Legal Environment of Business, which is a heinous class in itself. I want to go into contractual law. That's my idea. That deals with money. That deals with the idea of just how to better get this solidified money contract that will, I guess, reap the most gain for that specific organization. I've taken FAR 1, FAR 2. Those two are heinous courses. I have seen both the technical aspects, and because of that, I just am very motivated for being a member on this committee.
Cool. What experience do you have that would make you a good fit?
As I've always mentioned, the most telling thing is being involved with the operations of the budget itself. Attending meetings, that is the best thing you can do. Literally, meeting is still going on. I plan to attend the budget meeting that's going on at the exact same time as this. I sat in during summer. I've seen how the fiscal cycle is divvied up, which summer reallocation of money is definitely the most telling thing to be involved with that committee. You see the ins and outs of it. You see deliberations. You see how these big five entities need to meet with the budget committee to one, just evaluate the proper just future programs in these big five entities, as well as just carrying forward. Again, I deal with budgets every day. I manage Strike Magazine budget. I manage budget. I manage a lot of budgets at the same time right now. I have previously worked as a Key Club treasurer. I did that for almost 2 years. So I do know how to manage money. I know how to manage it well. I do know the terminology. As I mentioned, I'm taking coursework as well. So these complex terms that people might be like, what is that acronym? I do know what that means. I do know what it involves. I do know what it entails. That's one thing that I think is one of the most critical things of being on that committee. You need to know how, one, the committee operates, two, what the student organizations want, as well as just what everything needs.
All right. Next up is, what ideas do you have?
So I'm gonna try. I got two new ones for you this week. Contrary to the 3 ones that I've always given y'all before, this one came to me recently. I realized that a lot of these organizations might not speak English as their first language. So whether that's providing a specific translate to the form that is rather than, because obviously if you do Google Translate, that inhibits your time, and this on a first come first served basis, they could lose out on a lot of money. That's just one thing that I realized recently. I was like, wow, a lot of these organizations might not have they might have language barriers, and that could impact their funding. As I've mentioned before, I have created a SparkNotes of 99 pages of budget. It's attached. It doesn't let y'all see it. It's not to me, unfortunately. I would show y'all my laptop, but I don't have it in front of me. I've shown y'all previously. Y'all seen it. There's 99 pages of budget minutes that are SparkNotes, which was pretty heinous to do. Again, meeting with organizational leaders to best evaluate and instruct them how to carry out the budget process so they know this is what is to do if in the event of an emergency, as we have seen previously with other organizations this past fiscal cycle, they know what to do. And as I've also mentioned before, the numbered basis of 099, 100, 199 forms that are divvied up from like 10 different forms that have their specific, I guess, backup forms as well. That one will filter traffic because that could be a very high cause of the fact that these forms crash, because just the increased amount of traffic at 9 a.m. that can easily make it crash, and then as well as the backup form that can also make them crash as well. So that reallocation of forms, I hope that I have some age revisions here today in budget. I have 3 of them that should be heard today. We'll see if they pass. They should, because the controversial issues are more transparency within student government, and that's one thing that I think all these do. Is transparency within the student senate so that everyone knows what's going on, as well as within the organizations. So they see how this money is allocated. They do know how to properly do it, as well as the fact that just it creates a better. There we go.
Okay, I'm so sorry to cut you off. We're going to go ahead and move into your technical questions. Starting off with, what is the difference between an operational budget request and an event budget request?
Operational budget requests deal with general body meetings, which happen to carry out the operations of the organization. And events are any other special activity that do not include GDMs.
Okay. What are the big 5 organizations?
Fantastic. We got rights right here. We got student government. That's us, obviously. We have student rec. We have Sorority and Fraternity Life. And we have SAI.
Okay. What type of requests does the Budget Appropriations Committee cover?
Of course, starting with base funding. That's a critical one. We have line item. We have travel. We have operational. We have event.
Okay. Next up is, when does student government's fiscal year start, and when does it end?
It starts on July 1st of the given year, and then it ends June 30th of the following year.
Okay, sounds good. That's all the questions we've got for you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Motion.
I move to 10-minute recess by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to 10-minute recess by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Okay, wait, so you should.
Call this meeting back to order at 4:22 p.m. Is the clerk ready to take the roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Minority Party Leader Pelton.
Here.
Majority Party Leader Cypher.
Here.
Member at Large Wentworth.
Here.
Member at Large Tequila is not here. Senate President Rickman.
Here.
And then Senate President Pro Tempore Sacramento is present. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and move to deliberations upon hearing a motion. Same procedure as always. Every single candidate will be deliberated on. Maximum of 4 minutes of deliberation per candidate. And I'll call on people to speak. Do I hear any motion to open the floor for deliberations on all candidates?
So moved by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to open the floor. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. Starting off with Jason Von Holten. Do I hear any deliberation? Minority Party Leader Pelton.
Yeah, so I think that Von Holten brought a lot of understanding as to the specific needs of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, which I greatly appreciated, particularly when it came to the large influx of student organizations that are constantly applying. We're all well aware of the situation as it pertains to that. However, while I do appreciate the vision that Von Holten has for accommodating that influx, there really were no specifics as to how it was going to happen. I know we always talk about specifics, but if we're talking about an entire reorganization of the entire budget process, which has been attempted many, many times, we need more ideas and specifics as to how that is. We have other applicants who in the past have submitted separate idea sheets. I would strongly encourage Senator Von Holten to come back and give us specifics as to how he plans to do this. Many have come in here into this student government and tried to reform the budget process. We hear it all the time. But again, the process currently works, and although I do see a reason to fix it, I don't see how Von Holten plans to do that on budget. Aside from that, there was nothing else that was brought to the table. And so that is the sole idea we can really base our sort of assessment off of. Outside of that, when we look at experience, we don't really see much related specifically to finance or budget or appropriations. I was very appreciative of all of the work that he's done for his fraternity as a sponsorship chair. I think that's great. Director of recruitment for IFC, that's fantastic. But I don't see how that directly applies to the budget committee, and I don't think that the candidate really showed how it applies. And so I would encourage Senator Van Holten, who seems to be very, driven for this seat, to come back next week and bring in those ideas and advance it a little bit further.
Okay. Majority Party Leader Cypher.
Yes, I think his positions that he mentioned are applicable to the Budget Committee, but I do understand what you were saying about not having a super specific idea. I think he alluded to the fact that the server crashes every time there's a ton of orgs in it. That's honestly a web hosting plan issue and bandwidth, which has to do with Wi-Fi and the web hosting plan. So the way to fix that would probably just be pushing more money into the website, or we could do a different thing like breaking it down into separate forms. But honestly, I would like to see more specific ideas related to that, and I see what you're saying. If he comes in and talks about the bandwidth thing again, also a specific plan, because I don't think that's a bad idea at all.
Okay. Do I hear any other deliberation on Jason Van Holten?
I would just like to say, once again, I think this is something that we should probably try to consider in future deliberations as well. If a candidate does not specifically break down a way to do something, then we probably shouldn't bring it up in deliberations. I don't specifically remember him going much into detail about that, and I appreciate your contribution to the conversation regarding this, but again, I did not hear anything regarding how that was going to happen. In fact, you bring up those ideas might make you even more qualified for budget, because clearly you have a vision there. So I think that, again, as we've already kind of agreed, it would be good to just table this candidate and try it again next week. So.
Okay. Do I hear any other deliberations on Jason Van Holten? All right, hearing none, we can go ahead and move into deliberation on, I believe it is Angelia Fender's next.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Any other deliberation? All right, minority party leader Belden.
Yeah, so I appreciated Senator Fentress coming back again to RNA to discuss the application for budget. I did have a few issues with this applicant's application upon further review. Last week, it was this committee's decision to table this nominee on the basis that her application had not changed from the prior week, and that the ideas were not fleshed out. And then upon further review of the application from this week, there are no changes that were made. And so I think just on the basis of, again, kind of moving forward with the same sort of idea that we had last week with this applicant, I would suggest that the applicant does come back next week with some more fleshed out ideas. But again, I don't want to just say that and make that the baseline to just reject an applicant. I do want to talk more specifically about the ideas that have been represented again. The Q&A session, I think it's a great idea. The great thing is that
There has been a point of information.
Has
What's the
everyone
point of
seen the
information?
idea sheet within the Google Drive? Because that was Angelina's.
It's called ideasheet.docs.
I'm not trying to disagree. I just want to make sure
I
everyone saw
appreciate
it.
it.
Yeah, because that's
Crazy.
Some of them don't have the names on it, so I just want to make sure that. But yeah, that was hers.
That one
Yeah.
is not opening for me.
Click on the.
We'll stop this timer. All right.
Is it working for you?
Darn.
Give me a second.
Okay, there's 3 other
It is
people on
opening
it
for
right
me.
now.
Would you like to just like share yours?
Oh, got it.
Okay. If the senators would like a
Yeah.
minute or two to just look over that idea sheet, then that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. We can start the.
All right. Start.
Point of information first time.
2 minutes 40 seconds.
Okay. Was the clock paused when the point of information was
You
brought
pause
up?
that.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to keep talking. That's okay. All right. So first of all, now that I have been made aware of this idea sheet, I just want to say that thank you. I thank the senator for coming back with a little more fleshed out ideas. That's exactly what we asked for last week. And so everything that I said before that regarding that, I kind of take that back. As far as the ideas that were brought this week, a lot of them are still very similar. First of all, presentation from Budget Appropriations at the beginning and end of each semester is something that the Budget Committee does at least in the summertime, and I do appreciate the effort to want to make that happen throughout the year. It's not something that's new, and I would encourage maybe a code revision amendment to make that happen. That's totally possible. As far as the Q&A forum, as I was just about to get into, recently there was an amendment added that allows for the R&E committee, upon the request of a senator, to hold a town hall. I would suggest the senator attempt to maybe take that avenue. It already exists. Committee office hours, I love this idea. It's great. It needs to happen. I completely agree. Information packets, those do exist, although, as you've said here, I'm not trying to direct this to you, but as the member stated in their application, as far as trying to expand upon those packets, I do think it's a good idea. So overall, I'm not against the candidacy of Fentress. In fact, I did actually speak favorably upon Fentress's nomination last week, and I do appreciate the more ideas this time, although I do still think that some of them have already been accomplished, and maybe a little bit more diversity there might be a good idea. So those are my thoughts.
All right. Do I hear any other deliberation on Angela Fentress?
I would just like to say that I agree with that, and this applicant is undoubtedly qualified for the budget position. And next week, with more elaborated on ideas, would be great.
Do I hear any other deliberation? Oh, Senate President McQuinn.
I just want to say I agree with both party leaders. I would just encourage this applicant to come in next week with a little bit more fleshed out ideas.
Okay. Any other deliberation? Hearing none, we can go ahead. Oh, I apologize.
Go ahead.
All right. Hearing none, we can go ahead and move into deliberations on Thomas Hewitt III, Minority Party Leader.
Sorry, a little too quick there. So, as far as Watson, I appreciate the passion that he brought in again, but looking at the ideas, the main core messaging that he brought to the table was the issue of inflation. I think it's very important, and of course, as we've seen in the last legislative session, it's an issue that the Senate has begun tackling. We saw, obviously, the inflation, I forget the exact title of the bill, but the bill that essentially doubled base funding, the basis for which was under the assumption that inflation is going to continue to rise, $500 is no longer adequate for student organizations. So I do think that we are addressing the inflation issue. It's not something that's been untouched. It's certainly been done before. And the issue is that I take with a lot of what the senator brought as far as the idea of inflation is that A&S fee increase proposal has already been put up, 5% increase. And while that might not be adequate in the eyes of the applicant, there still needs to be a larger discussion Senate-wide regarding this. I personally do not believe that an A&S fee increase should occur in a time when inflation is genuinely a problem for students. And of course, each of us to varying degrees may struggle to afford necessities, but that's a personal opinion. Regardless, when it comes to an increase, it's something that's been levied. It's something that I think still remains to be seen in a decision from the Board of Trustees. And so I'm concerned that this applicant continues to come in with the inflation idea and A&S fees without a clear understanding as to how the process works, how A&S fees have to be done through the Board of Trustees, an increase in the rate of A&S fees, rather than through the Budget Committee. I'm very concerned with this applicant's understanding of how this process works, because it can't happen in the budget. I also would just like to state that one of the technical questions was answered incorrectly. I do believe the applicant missed travel under types of requests. And so overall, I just think that this applicant should be tabled for consideration. He should come back next week with a little bit of a better understanding of how that sort of A&S fee increase would work. So I'm not going to take too much more time.
All right, Member-elect Wentworth.
Yeah, I agree with the sentiments of the Minority Party Leader. I think that this candidate, I was just looking over their resume, has a lot of outside experience that could be really, really useful. Gator Student Investment Fund, Warrington Ventures. But I would agree that I think that the ideas just need to be a little bit, maybe a new one too, just because he has applied a couple times and I feel like we've kind of heard the same thing. So maybe just something a little bit new or a little bit more fleshed out. But I think that with the experience that this candidate has, they should definitely come back and reapply because they seem to be extremely experienced.
All right. Is there any other deliberation?
Yes.
President
Yeah, I did like I do appreciate the understanding that budgets are getting tighter, so that if budgets could be increased, that would definitely help out a lot of the organizations that we fund, right? But I would recommend, especially if people are looking to increase the size of the budget, that instead of doing it through an A&S fee increase, that there's ways to increase auxiliary revenue in, for example, rec sports or alternative Big Five entities where they can charge for things that might be used by bigger organizations as an alternative to increasing the A&S fee. So I'd just like to state that for the record.
Okay. Is there any other deliberation? Hearing none, we can go ahead and move into deliberation on Antonio Hendricks. Do I hear any deliberation? Minority Party Leader Pelton.
Yeah, so Senator Hendricks, as we've said multiple times, has come in here with a lot of experience. Served as a former student body vice president of a major university here in the state of Florida, another public university. Was pro temp of the Senate at that university. Was essentially the leader of the finances of the Senate, as is true here at the University of Florida, as well as served on the Audit and Budget Committee for over a year. It's very clear that he brings a lot of experience understanding how budgets work. He even talked about how he himself led a charge to audit student organizations at that university, which I think is massive because we hear a lot of times from applicants, we hear a lot of times from political parties on both sides discussing transparency in the student organization process. And what's better to bring to the table when it comes to transparency than someone who has years of experience levying transparency and transparent policy at another university. Not only does that allow for us to get a jump ahead because someone is that experienced, but also I think that this candidate, as is shown through multiple applications here, shows that he can bring experience from another university and bring in new ideas in how we can make this university more transparent without being already a part of our system here. And so I think it's really clear that this applicant is very, very well antiquated with the process and would do an excellent job serving on this committee. Aside from that, the idea about Gator Connect is not something that I personally heard before. Again, that experience that he brings from his old school with Phoenix Link, I think it was called, talking about how we could try to use as a Senate, as a student government, Gator Connect or other resources available to our disposal to connect student organizations to better serve them through the Budget Committee. I think it's an idea, again, that we hear a lot, but we haven't really heard an exact avenue as to how that's going to happen. And so for the sake of transparency, for the sake of connecting students with budget, which is something we hear on both sides all the time, it's clear that Senator Hendricks is extremely qualified to get that done. He has a vision for how he's going to manage that, and I'm just really hoping that he has the chance to serve in the committee.
Okay. Do I hear any other deliberation on Antonio Hendricks? Majority Party Leader Seifert.
I do agree that this applicant is extremely qualified. I loved the Gator Connect and Gator Cloud ideas in general. I am a little bit concerned with how exactly this would happen. I know that all of the SG documents, such as like every branch and committee member, meeting minutes, reference docs, should probably go on the SG website as opposed to on Gator Cloud or Gator Connect. I would love to see an example of the Phoenix Connect and how exactly it was used, or like a screenshot of something like that, just so we can see how all of that information was put onto that website, just as like, so I know exactly how that would be possible. But yeah, I really liked the Gator Cloud idea. I don't see why that couldn't be on the SG website to begin with, though.
Okay. Senator President Rodriguez?
Yeah, I definitely agree on the part about experience. However, there was some things that he said that kind of remind me of what happened in the pitfalls of Watson's interview, which was, he mentioned that Gator Connect, like we can do elections through Gator Connect. I felt like that's not the job of the legislature, that's the job of the judicial branch. So much like what was happening with Watson's interview, where he was talking about ANS fee increases being done through budget when it's not done through budget, it's done by many other organizations outside of budget. I thought that was a little bit of a pitfall in his statement. Additionally, the part about, I appreciate your comments about audits. Obviously, that's an important thing. That is done through SG Finance, though, so that's not entirely the burden of the Budget Appropriations Committee. That's somewhat the job of Gary Bryant and the other amazing people who work over at SG Finance. And then as far as the Gator Connect issue is concerned, I definitely think that...
I think that ends off deliberation times for Antonio Hendricks. Next up, we are in line for deliberations on Christian Gibran. Do I hear any deliberations on Christian Gibran, Minority Party Leader Pelton?
So I'm a little bit concerned about Senator Gibran's understanding of how the Budget Committee works. As far as I recall from the response to the idea question, the idea was to reform the Google form for budget. I could be completely wrong in understanding that, but he did explicitly say he wanted to rework the Google form. And so I'm not exactly sure if that's referring to a survey about budget, or I hope that's what he was referring to and not how people apply for funding, because that's absolutely not how that works. If it is the case that he wants to simply reform that survey, again, that's not a new idea. It's not changing any form or any way that the Budget Committee works. It's not changing the way it works publicly. Also, as far as INC goes, there was a lot of discussion. I encourage everyone to actually read through the responses from the application, because you'll notice that there's a lot of language without much meaning, in my opinion. As far as creating engaging content, how is it going to happen? What kind of engaging content? Nothing like that is stated. It's just a lot of words without meaning, in my view. Same thing for budget appropriation. Again, we keep hearing, excuse me, about the issue of transparency, but there's just no discussion as to how we're going to make our budget process more transparent. And it is true that budget may not directly audit student organizations, but at the very least I would like to hear a little bit more from applicants about transparency, if that is an issue that they care about. And so I just think on the basis of, again, the same kind of qualifiers we've discussed in the past of just not really bringing specifics as to how they plan to accomplish this, what avenues, what steps, what plans, we need to table this nominee and ask them to come back next week for both seats.
Okay. Member Large Wentworth?
Yeah, so I was also reading the responses from this candidate, and it does say, I propose implementing a comprehensive digital communication strategy, and then the strategy would involve creating engaging content such as newsletters and social media campaigns. I would like to know more about the social media campaigns, because that seems like something that could be useful to keep the student body informed about Senate activities and initiatives. I think that's something that's really great that they may have like more ideas within that we haven't heard of. So I would agree that I would want them to reapply and come back and share more on that, just so that we know what the details of that idea are.
Senate President Rickman?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with everything that Minority Party Leader Pelton said. However, the point that he was making about Google Forms was he wanted to look into using Qualtrics instead of the Google system. His idea was that would positively impact the bandwidth issue that frequently occurs during the budget cycle, but I'm in agreement with basically everything else that you just said. I just wanted to say that for the record.
All right. Is there any other deliberation? Hearing none, we can go into deliberation on Alan Rivera Jaramillo. Do I hear any deliberation on Minority Party Leader Pelton?
Yeah, so I will start off with some of the criticisms of this applicant that I do see. So first of all, the response to the third question on the application is not exactly sufficient, I will state for the record, in terms of just what exactly this senator plans to bring to the committee. So I do take concern with that. However, I do think that his response here in person did suffice to a certain degree as to what he plans to do. He's come in before, he's clearly dedicated and does want to really help make a difference on this committee. As far as qualifications, we've talked about it before. Obviously, serving on a national board to put out newsletters and work on social media campaigns is something that should heavily be considered when considering this applicant. I think that's really important. He has, again, as he said himself, he's fostered mentorship across the nation with alumni for an engineering organization. I think that's huge. I think it's something that we want to do and bring here to our student government. You may have noticed, but INC did not publish, at least that I'm aware of, the Senate newsletter for this month. Again, we continue to fail to do the job that's outlined in the codes. It's time to bring someone in who has the experience and who has the drive to get it done. And I think that this candidate has shown that they do have that drive and experience to make it happen. As far as the other ideas, changing the senator orientation is fantastic. He talked about his experience as a news senator coming to the orientation about how it was insufficient in a lot of ways as to parliamentary procedure. I think that all of us, when we started as senators, were a little bit confused about Parley Pro. I know I was. And I think that that's a common issue that we see with the senator orientation. So his discussion about changing that, making it a little bit more friendly by having a mock Senate session, which is something that I've never really heard of before, I think it's a great idea. I think it's something that INC should really consider, and I think we need to consider this applicant seriously for the seat.
All right,
yeah, so I would agree with the drive as well as the experience of this candidate. I will say that in terms of the Senate newsletter, really the main thing that was said was the new initiatives, but I personally didn't really hear a lot of exactly what these new initiatives were. So I would just like this candidate to come back and have very specific things about the newsletter, because every single candidate who comes in here will say it's being put out. I would agree it's not being put out, and that's something that, okay, we actually need to do. But I just think that within this idea, I would just like to hear a little bit more because of their experience with newsletters and because they've obviously done a lot and dealt with a lot. So I would just like a little elaboration on the new initiatives.
Majority Party Leader?
I honestly was very much in favor of the mock Senate session idea. I think that is something that's really cool. I would love to hear more elaboration on that specifically, just because I want to see how it's different from like watching the Senate recordings in the first place or sitting in meetings in the first place. I guess in terms of hands-on experience, but I would like to see some more of that.
Minority Party Leader?
Yeah, I mean, so again, like I was asking you not to do earlier, I won't put words into the mouth of the applicant or anything of that nature, so I don't want to go further than what he said himself. But as far as my interpretation from what he said regarding the mock Senate session, I do believe that the idea was essentially just to allow senators to experience it themselves, like live in the flesh. There's definitely a big difference between watching a video online, obviously, which we really don't get the full picture of how Senate works. It's actually kind of uncomfortable to watch that video sometimes, because like what is happening, and you can hear like Monish whispering and stuff. It's like that is not very applicable to the Senate. Whereas this idea is something more along the lines of, an actual mock Senate session where everyone is given the chance to make motions and break out of their shell. I think it's a great idea, something that's not been approached before. And so I'd really like to see this person get into this committee and just work out those ideas then and there, because it's just, he's very clearly qualified. I think he should do this.
Okay. That ends off deliberation times on Alan. We are now in line for deliberation on Carolina Perez. Do I hear any deliberation on Carolina? Okay, well, hearing no deliberation on... Majority Party Leader.
I did like this applicant's application and their interview. I appreciate what she's saying about the discrepancy between individuals who live off campus as opposed to on campus and how they may feel as though they are less involved in on-campus life. I enjoyed hearing about, well, not enjoyed, I guess. I liked hearing about how her first concern is safety. That's something that I think is extremely important. The UFPD call helpline, I would like to see a little bit more elaboration on that, just because I feel like if you call 911, they would 100% be willing to stay on the phone with you, but I guess people might shy away from doing that. And then also, just out of curiosity, I looked up the centralized online hub for off-campus information, and that does already exist, including like all the RTS routes and things like that. So in terms of her idea for that, I very much appreciated it. That latter one does exist though.
Okay. Do I hear any other... Senator President Workman.
Yeah, I just wish that this applicant would come back next week with some more to say about herself, because, for example, when we asked her what makes her experience what is her experience for this position, she said she lives off campus, which we'd hope, right, for the seat. And then second, she works in the business school, and I'm not denying that working in the business school and working on campus is not, an insufficient experience, because there's plenty of people who are in the Senate who have jobs on campus that contribute a lot to our chamber, but I would just like to hear more, and I wish she would have expounded a little bit more on herself.
Okay. Do I hear any other deliberation on Carolina Perez? All right, hearing none, we are now in deliberation for Hunter Monson. On Hunter Monson.
All right, I think that Senator Monson has a clear vision for what he wants to see happen in the Budget Appropriations Committee, and I think it's really important that we have a serious conversation about this. Senator Monson has come in 4 times, this is his 4th time, I should say, to discuss his ideas and bring them forth to the committee, okay? He served over the summer as a replacement. He sat through Budget Appropriations Committee. He went through one of the most trying times for the budget process over the summer, where we were having multiple amendments to the budget, and we saw all that take place. He was there. He voted for that. He knows how the budget process works. He was there for it. He sat through it. He has the experience to do this. He has worked on multiple organizations and fought for their budget and treasury processes. So he has experience there. He understands the needs of student organizations, PSA, BSA, IOC, and ISA, when it came to them losing their ability to get event funding, and he wants to make changes to that. If you look at his idea sheet, he has brought 5 quality ideas to the table regarding budget, such as making the forms more numerical and devising what each of them mean and helping the public see how that works. He's changing the codes, the 800 codes, to make them better for student organizations, more understandable. He's went through 99 pages of minutes from the summer and written spark notes for senators as to what happened in the budget for that. He's working towards language assistance, so that way others who speak different languages, student org leaders who speak different languages, of which many of our student orgs are cultural orgs, can go in and understand the budget process and the forms in their own language. And he also wants to make sure that there are monthly meetings with student org leaders, so that way everyone is on the same page as to how the budget process works. Now, not only are these fantastic ideas, They're so good that other applicants have brought in the same exact ideas after hearing Hunter Monson's ideas brought before this committee. I think time and time again we continue to push off this applicant for, bring in more ideas. We have asked him to bring more ideas, and I appreciated those asks in the past, but now here we are yet again. He's brought the ideas, he's fleshed them out, he knows what he wants to do, and he's here to get it done. And so if you have the vision like I do to see that someone is put on this committee who is qualified, who brings in ideas as we continue to talk about and has fleshed them out to such an extreme level, then please approve this candidate. He has come in week after week and shown his dedication. He's shown that he's ready to get the job done. He has ideas that are new. He is ready to serve on day one. He has the experience, and it's time to put him in this committee.
Majority Party Leader Seibert.
I 100% agree. This applicant is qualified, passionate, has fleshed out ideas. The one thing that I would like to say that I am a little bit concerned about because of his new idea about orgs not speaking English as a first language, that inhibiting the process for the first come, first serve forms, that was actually a Vision Party platform point. So I'm just a little bit concerned about the new languages.
Point of information. Has any bill regarding the languages of any budget form been passed by the Senate?
I'm not aware of that. I don't believe so.
Point of information. When were the election dates of the fall 2023 election?
I believe the fall election was October something.
Point of information.
Yeah.
How much time has transpired from the fall election dates until now?
Point of order, you don't have to take these points of information if you don't want to.
I'll take them.
Okay.
October, a couple months.
Thank you.
Point of information.
Yes.
Did Minority Party Leader Pelton not say it was a completely new idea, though?
I believe he did. Okay. We ready to keep on moving with
Anyway.
deliberations?
I mean,
We said it's
I don't know how much time we have.
a minute 30. I
That's
looked
an
at
hour,
it.
30.
Oh, we would have been
We'll
here.
be here for a long time.
Sorry, I looked at it and just didn't fully press pause.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't necessarily have more to elaborate on besides the point that it was not a new idea and it was actually in Vision Party's platform. So
Minority Party Leader?
So I do appreciate the point that, of course, if a party brings an issue to the table, that they have every right to act upon that. That is their prerogative as a party, and it's fantastic that the Vision Party platform was there. But there have been several months, I think about 4 months that have passed since that election date, and no bill has been proposed by either party regarding this issue. So just because someone wanted to make a change and put it on their party platform doesn't necessarily mean that they claim credit or claim the responsibility to fix it. Especially if there's been so much time since that was put out there as a serious issue and that party has failed to address the issue, then it should be to the right of any senator to wish to address that issue. And yes, maybe I said that every idea was new and maybe this one isn't so new, but the majority party has failed to put forward any policy point to actually accomplish that goal. And so it's up for free grabs for anyone who wants to make a difference in the Senate. No party claims any ownership of a policy issue. That's not how this works.
Okay. There's 15 seconds left in deliberation time. Is there anyone else wishing to? Minority Party Leader?
At the end of the day, he's come back time and time again. He's qualified as the majority party leader had admitted in deliberations. He has shown time and time again that he's bringing ideas and fleshing them out. It's time to approve Senator Monson for the budget seat.
Okay. With that, I think we've completed deliberation on every candidate. So we can go ahead and close deliberations. And Minority Party Leader?
I move to approve Hunter Monson.
I think a motion to...
motion. I move to close the floor for deliberations.
All right, there's been a motion to close the floor for deliberations by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow up. I move to approve Hunter Monson for the open Budget Appropriations Seat by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve Hunter Monson for the open Budget Appropriations Committee Seat by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections?
Follow up.
Follow
I
up?
move the same, not by unanimous consent.
The motion has been remade. All right. Is the clerk ready to roll?
No. Yes.
Okay.
Go for it.
Minority Party Leader?
Yes.
Majority Party Leader Seibert? Member at Large Wentworth?
No.
Senate President Rickman?
No.
And then I will go ahead and abstain in a vote of 1-3 to 1. That motion fails.
Follow up.
Follow up?
I move to table the open off-campus seat by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to table the open off-campus seat by unanimous consent. Do we hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to approve Senator Rivera Jaramillo for the open INC seat by unanimous consent.
Does-
Object.
Follow-up. I
Follow-up.
move the same, not by unanimous consent.
That motion has been remade to approve Senator Alan Rivera Jaramillo for the Open Information Communication seat. Is the clerk ready to take the roll?
Yeah.
Minority Party Leader Pelton?
Yes.
Majority Party Leader Cipher?
No.
Member at Large Wentworth?
No.
Senate President Ringgold?
No.
And then I will go and abstain from that vote. In a vote of 1 to 3 to 1, that motion fails. Is there?
Point of information.
Well,
How many open INC seats were announced at the last Senate meeting?
I believe I only announced one
Okay,
open
gotcha.
INC seats.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to approve Senator Hendricks for the open budget and appropriations seat by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion. Okay, there's
Follow-up.
no objection.
I
Follow-up.
move the same, not by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve Senator Hendricks for the open budget and appropriations seat by a roll call vote. Is the clerk ready to take the roll?
Yes.
All right. Minority Party Leader Pelton?
Yes.
Majority Party Leader Cipher?
No.
Member at Large Wentworth?
No.
Senator President Rickman?
No.
And then I will go and abstain. In a vote of 1 to 3 to 1, that motion fails.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to approve Senator Hendricks for the open INC seat by unanimous consent.
Object.
All right.
Follow-up. I
Follow-up.
remake the same, not by unanimous consent.
All right. There's been a motion to approve Senator Hendricks for the open INC seat. Is the clerk ready to take the roll?
Yes.
All right. Minority
Yes.
Party Leader Pelton? Yes. Majority Party Leader Cipher?
No.
Member at Large Wentworth?
No.
Senator President Rickman?
No.
And then I will go ahead and abstain. In a vote of 1 to 3 to 1, that motion fails.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to table the open budget and appropriations committee seat by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to table the open budget and appropriation seat by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to table the open INC seat by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to table the open INC seat by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add all bills under first reading to the agenda by unanimous consent.
All right. There's been a motion to add all bills under first reading to the agenda by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections?
Quick point of information. Is this to add everything that was approved?
Everything that was approved by judicial.
Okay.
Today.
Okay.
Yeah, that
It
I
just
should have
wasn't-
specified.
Yeah. Could you
So I rescind my previous motion. I move to add all bills under first reading that have been approved by the Judiciary Committee on the date of February 4th by unanimous consent.
All right. There has been a motion to add all bills that have been approved by the Judiciary Committee to the first readings by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add all bills pending second readings to bills under second readings to the agenda by unanimous consent.
All right. There's been a motion to add all
Point of
the.
information, doesn't that roll over because the meeting didn't end?
It didn't.
It
But if there
ended
was any bills passed under first readings that need
So
to be entered second readings.
ARA does not apply to shifting bills
Oh,
to,
okay.
to the second readings. That actually has
But
to be
this
applied.
second readings last week.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the motion's still good.
Yeah. The
Okay.
motion's still good.
So, follow up.
There's been a follow-up.
Oh, I didn't know where we were. Go ahead.
All right. Is there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Follow up.
Follow-up.
I move to set the time and location of the next Senate meeting to February 6th at 7:30 p.m. in the Rights Union Senate Chamber by unanimous consent.
I object. Could I speak on this point of personal privilege? So because of the electrical fire that happened,
Oh, gotcha.
we can't do it in the Senate chamber. We do have a reservation for the Rights Union Auditorium on the second floor.
Gotcha.
So I'll
Okay.
make that motion. I can just make that motion.
Are you still doing a 7:30?
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. So let me just see if I have any more motions to make, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So follow up. So first of all, I rescind my previous motion, and then I follow up.
Rules and ethics.
Oh, okay. I move to add any approved approved excused absences to the agenda by unanimous consent.
In the field.
And failed.
So just R&D committee recommendations? All right, there's been a motion to add all rules and ethics committee recommendations to the agenda by unanimous consent. Do we hear any objections? All right, hearing none, the motion passes. Follow-up.
I move to approve any bills approved by the Budget and Appropriations
Yeah.
Committee today or any meeting prior to today that are still pending to the agenda by unanimous consent.
Okay, there's been a motion to add all bills approved by the Budget and Appropriations Committee to the agenda by unanimous consent. Do we hear any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Point of information. What was the bill that was talked about earlier before we started this meeting?
Yeah.
1061.
a bill submitted by Senator Zarate.
Oh, the
About-
animal.
Yes. So this is the only bill we'll be considering. It was. Wait. Hold on. So, former parliamentarian Lupien would like to present on the bill, but since he's not a listed author.
I mean, point of personal privilege,
Yeah.
just for the people in the room, does anyone have any objections to just approving the bill? It's about, like, animal use.
He wanted to present.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's, what?
He was about calm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
So we would have to renumber the bill
yeah,
to ooh, I forgot the number. 1 second.
it's 61.
61. Okay. 1161.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So do I hear a motion?
Follow up. I move to amend the title of the bill pending consideration by the Replacement Agenda Committee to reflect the numbering SSB 2024-1161 by unanimous consent.
All right. There's been a motion to rename the animal testing resolution to SSB 2024-1161 by unanimous consent. Do I hear any follow up?
Well, you didn't finish.
Yeah.
Oh, do I hear any objections? The motion passes.
Okay, cool. Follow. So I move to approve SSB 2024-1161 and move it to bills under first readings on the agenda by unanimous consent.
All right. There's been a motion to approve SSB 2024-1161 by unanimous consent and move it under first readings on the agenda. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Follow up.
I move to refer all other pending bills that were submitted to the Replacement Agenda Committee for this week's consideration to the Judiciary Committee by unanimous consent.
All right. There's been a motion to refer all other pending bills submitted to the Replacement Agenda Committee for consideration to the Judiciary Committee for consideration by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
And, wait, point of information on that. Is that all the bills sent to the pro temp email or to this committee
To
specifically?
pro temp email.
Okay. And then point of information.
Point of information.
Okay, actually, no, just kidding. I received
Okay.
it.
Senate President Marbury.
I move to set the time and place of the next Student Government Senate meeting to Tuesday, February 6th at 7:30 p.m. At the Rice Union Auditorium located on the second floor by unanimous consent.
All right. 1 second. There's been a motion to. All right. There's been a motion to set the time. Oh, did you say February 5th?
I said 6th.
6th. Okay. There's been a motion to set the time and place for the next regularly scheduled Senate meeting to February 6th at 7:30 p.m. in the Rice Union Auditorium by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. All right. Majority Brother?
I move to hear and vote on all committee recommendations as a block by unanimous consent.
All right. There's
Point of
been.
information, was that block not already created in the previous committee recommendations?
Committee seat
Permanent
nominations?
seats.
Yeah.
All right. I believe. Okay. So there's been a motion to create, to hear and vote on all committee seat nominations as a block by unanimous
I
consent.
object.
There's been objection.
Okay. I remake that motion.
All right. That motion has been remade. Is the clerk ready to take the roll?
Yes.
All right. Minority Party Leader Pelton.
No.
Majority Party Leader Cipher.
Yes.
Member at Large Schmalworth.
Yes.
Senate President McQuinn.
Yes.
And then my vote does not affect the decision of the vote, so I will go ahead and abstain in a vote of 1 to 3 to 1. That motion passes. All right. So let me just add that to the agenda real quick.
Point of information.
Point of information.
The university committee nominations are still being heard as a block from last week.
That carries over, correct. Okay. Do I?
Can I move to a 1-minute recess by unanimous consent?
All right. There's been a motion for a 1-minute recess by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Okay. Here's the deal with the committee. No.
I call this meeting back to order at 5:08 p.m. Motion.
I move to suspend the rule for roll call by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to suspend the need for a roll call by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. We're now in line for more motions. Any other motions? Majority Party Leader Cipher?
If there are no more, then I'm.
Can I please look at it for you?
Yeah. Okay. So obviously I just have to fill in some blanks with the,
Can I just go through it?
yeah.
I don't think these have to be here if there's no.
Yeah, I just took
Okay,
them out because
okay,
I'm
I got you.
gonna fix up the formatting. And obviously,
You're gonna add these.
and then I have to go through the minutes and then take out the ones we passed and then stuff like that. Okay.
You're good.
Um,
Just want to check.
Can you also give me 1 second? I'm just gonna make sure that everything is. I don't want a situation where last week where we never added second readings.
Well, we did make the motion, so as long as you do it in your time.
Oh yeah, no. I just want to make sure that we're like getting everything that we need to get on the agenda. Okay. Okay. Right. Rules and ethics. Judiciary. Right. I think that's everything. Do I hear any motions?
Yes.
Sorry, President.
I need to adjourn this meeting. By unanimous consent.
Wait.
My bad.
Do you
I
rescind?
rescind.
Sorry, President.
I move to adopt the agenda by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to adopt the agenda by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. I adjourn this meeting at 5:10 p.m.